Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
And it was so difficult. So I met Arthur, and I'll tell you, he's going to be the future premier. I sat and asked him, I said, Arthur, this is a situation. I'm going to bring it to cabinet. I was very upfront with him, but I'm really concerned about putting all the kids in the classroom.
Just one quick question. Does Arthur exist?
I have no comment. I'm not here to comment on a statement.
Just before the Ontario legislature wrapped for summer recess, Premier Doug Ford ended a press conference with an anecdote that was somewhat charming and, in truth, equal parts surreal and bizarre. It was all about an 11-year-old boy named Arthur. Take it away, Premier.
So I get a letter dropped off at my house. I get a lot of letters dropped off my house, and I read it, and it's from a young gentleman named Arthur.
Are people really dropping off letters at Premier Ford's home all the time? I'm pretty sure there's a police car there 24/7. Wouldn't allowing people to put letters in the Ford mailbox be a security breach? People can put really nasty, harmful things in envelopes after all. Continue.
And they lived a few blocks away and real passionate. You know, this is what kills me. I'd rather get drilled down by the reporters than sit and talk to these kids, because it rips your heart out when you talk to them. So I took it upon myself to hop in my pickup. I drove over to the house, and I didn't tell him I was coming. And he goes to a French school, and it was all written in French. Mother translated in English on the other side for me. So I went over and I knocked on the door, and this little guy comes out, and I said, "Are you Arthur?" And he said, "No, I'm Marcus." I said, "Is your mom home?" And he said, "No, they're out in the back having dinner. Come with me." He was great. He was like a little butler. He put this mask on. I had my mask on. And so we went in the backyard, the nicest family you could ever meet.
At the time this occurred, folks, there was still a stay-at-home order in the province of Ontario. So yet again, is it one rule for me and one rule for thee? Continue.
And it was so difficult. So I met Arthur. And I'll tell you, he's going to be the future premier. I sat and asked him, I said, Arthur, this is a situation. I'm going to bring it to cabinet. I was very upfront with him, but I'm really concerned about putting all the kids in the classroom.
If you happen to be watching, Marcus, some advice here. If an unknown individual comes a-calling, do not open the door to him and do not let him enter the house. Stranger danger. Continue.
You know, if there was a choice, do you want to go back to class, or do you want to, I said, are you going to camp? He goes, yeah, I'm going to camp. I said, well, I'm just concerned about that. Which one would you want? He goes, well, I want to go back to class. So after going back and forth, he was a tough negotiator, by the way. I got to get him into some of the negotiations. But at the end, he said, I'd be happy if we had a graduation day, and that's for all grades, not just grade 8 and 12, and get to see his friends, and then he gets to go to camp, and he has a great summer. So what a great young man he is, and the family was just absolutely incredible. I'm very grateful that I met him last night. And if I could sit there and go to every single family and explain the situation we're in, I think they'd understand. I do not want to risk the summer. I do not want to risk stage one. Folks, we are doing so well as a province, and all thanks to each and every one of you. Thanks to the frontline healthcare workers. You're all absolute champions. We need to stick with the framework. We need to move forward. Dr. Williams will get back to us if we can reopen earlier, but let's not waver. Let's keep moving forward. And the kids are going to have a fabulous summer as long as we keep moving in the right direction. Thank you, and God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Hey, folks, it sounds like little Arthur is cabinet material, don't you think? I wonder, was he at least rewarded with a slice of cherry cheesecake? Gotta say, the whole tale sounds like the storyboard for an ABC after-school special. At least that's what I think. But just one hitch, though. Does little Arthur actually exist? I mean, to me, this anecdote is so reminiscent of that batshite crazy story Jean Chrétien told back in the 90s. Remember when Prime Minister Chrétien claimed that he was having frequent conversations with a homeless man in an Ottawa park? Well, the Ottawa press went looking for that man, and, well, to quote Romulan Senator Vrinac, it's a fake. Yeah, turns out that the homeless man was most likely the Prime Minister's imaginary friend. Why? Well, hey, why not? I mean, it kind of made Chrétien come across as downright folksy, conversing with the little people, until it was exposed as fiction, of course. Now, in fairness, I cannot accuse Premier Ford of being a liar without evidence. But folks, does the Little Arthur story pass your personal sniff test? It just seems so weird to me. So it was that I decided to venture out to ground zero for the story, Premier Ford's house. I thought I'd ask the man guarding his residence if he has seen Little Arthur, and here's how that went. Hi, sir. I'm David Menzies with Rebel News.
Can you get off the property, sir?
Oh, okay then. Just one thing. We're looking for Arthur, and what is the protocol for dropping off letters to...
If you have something to drop off, you can drop it off to whoever's here, security.
Oh, like yourself?
Yeah, and we can hand it in to the family or whoever it's for.
Okay, fair enough. Just one quick question. Does Arthur exist?
I have no comment. I'm not here to comment on a statement.
Okay, very good. Have a good weekend.
You too, sir.
Okay. Well, so I guess Doug, Ontario open for business. Doug for the people. The very first things out of his security detail was get off the property. Normally I wouldn't come to a politician's house, but since this is part of the story, I thought it was pertinent to do so. So apparently, if you do want Doug Ford to read your letter, you got to drop it off with the man right here who claims to be the security detail. And in the meantime, well, we'll just cruise around the neighborhood. Arthur! 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 Fascinating. Then again, just maybe Little Arthur actually exists. Then again, just maybe Premier Doug Ford is telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Or then again, to quote Bruce Campbell in Army of Darkness,
yeah, maybe I'm a Chinese jet pilot.
For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, do you think we have free speech in Canada? Well, I thought so, and then the Peterborough Police came all the way to my private residence to charge me for covering an anti-lockdown rally. If you think this is as outrageous as I do, please go to standwithmenzies.com. That's standwithmenzies.com. And if you're able to, make a donation so that I can depend on those funds for my legal fees.